It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now, for people who want to know what uncensored is, uncensored's my way of showing people that even if we're learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of disabilities or learning disabilities. That it's still prove to people you can still mount to something no matter what. So with that being said, it's a half hour of your time. You can say anything you want and talk about whatever you want. Curse if you want to. And I'm going to pass the show over to you in a couple minutes, and you can ask me anything you want, gloves off. And starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
So I graduated in 2007, and after that I studied at Villanova University, and I majored in electrical engineering. And after those 4 years, I decided to do a year of service down in Nicaragua with the support of my college, the engineering program. So I've been involved in a couple engineering projects down here, as well as teaching English. And actually, after my first year, I loved it so much that I decided to keep doing that. And I've been doing that for the past 4 years now, as well as studying for my master's in engineering at Villanova. So that's where I'm at right now.
So what brings you there? You mentioned engineering, but what actually influenced you to go there?
Yeah, so my school over the past 20 years has done various engineering projects in developing countries, such as Panama, Philippines, and Nicaragua as well. And one of my professors recommended I go to Nicaragua. So I went down there the first week, and it was a little bit shocking. I think the poverty really hit me, and a different culture, you know. But then after a little while, to being there an extended amount of time, get to know the people, get used to the culture, the language, and it's really something special. I really enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it now.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, going back to high school, did you do any sports? What were your favorite things about high school, and what did you hate about it?
I think what I hated about it is it started very early in the morning, and that was difficult a lot of days. In terms of sports, I played. I was a swimmer, so I was on the varsity swim team for 4 years, and that was a lot of fun. It was made a wonderful group of friends, and it was great being part of a sport.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you was, were you ever a part of the boarding show, number one? And were you ever part of the audio-visual department?
No, I was never part of the morning show nor the AV department.
All right. What about, do you have any favorite teachers that you liked or you hated?
I wasn't too nitpicky about t-shirts, so whatever t-shirt was there, I wore. I really didn't hate a t-shirt I wore if somebody else wore any other piece of clothing. Never bothered me.
All right.
So I'm pretty easygoing with fashion, I should say.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you was, when you went to college, what, you apparently major in engineering.
Yeah.
So what, and I know I asked this before, but what really influenced you about getting into engineering and getting into that line of work? Or like, who influenced you, and how did that whole thing come about?
So during high school, my favorite subjects were math and science, and I really had an interest in technology and learning how things worked, how things are put together, how things are designed. And I knew I really wanted to go into the math, science, and engineering field. And I did have an older sibling who's an engineer, as well as a number of other siblings, uncles, and yeah, a couple uncles that were engineers. So I think having that model as a model kind of influenced me to become an engineer as well.
Alright, now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to pass the show over to you. So, once we come back. Welcome back to Uncensored. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is Mr. John, and I just want to say thank you for sticking with us. Now, we're back from the commercial break. I'm going to put you in the driver's seat. You can say anything you want, ask me anything you want. This is your time, after all.
All right, cool. I guess I'd like that's the same question you asked. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Alright. Let's see. What to say about myself? I have a passion for making videos.
Mm-hmm.
I was a part of the audiovisual department. You know, it's funny when I mention people who went to Monterey or currently in Monterey to say to me, I asked them, do you guys still have the morning show? And they say yes, but it's called something else. It always makes me smile because I'm the one who came up with the whole idea. And make a long story short, is I came up with the idea back in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, it was about, what was it? End of '04, beginning of 2005. And I said, wouldn't it be great, because we have TVs in every room, wouldn't it be great to do a TV show and have people come out, say we're talking about this, and school events and everything? And Mr. Roll told me, okay, if you want to do it, go do it. So I
Yeah.
came up with a flyer and everything, and basically it was, just trying to find it was like this, like a flyer, 2 pages, maybe 3, and people are
Mm-hmm.
like, and when they did that and threw it in the garbage, I was pissed. I was like, I didn't stay up all night making hundreds of
Yeah.
these, waste ink, and have someone treat it like shit. I didn't want to. I was pissed. Then I guess
You're gonna have lovers and haters.
yeah, absolutely. And I guess Mr. All liked my idea, or
Mm-hmm.
apparently because then we had a show out of it. He went around and talked to a bunch of other people, like Jordan and was he Drew and whatever morning show people there were, and they did it, and they like to believe they they like to came up with the idea. And it's like, well, when every time I say, well, I came up with it originally. No, you're not. Stop trying to put yourself in the spotlight. Stop trying to blow smoke out of your ass. We know you're this and you're that. Stop trying to steal the spotlight. But the truth of the matter is, I came up with it. I didn't know how to present something like this because I kind of wish I was doing this now because this really helps me walk up to people and interact with people. Back in high school, I wasn't the same person. It's a learning disability and fear of being rejected. I stayed to myself. So basically, it's kind of like you're doing, but scale back. So I didn't know who to point to or ask or take this direction, take that direction. So yeah, I guess in a way I dropped the ball, but I got the ball started. I got the whole thing moving. So I think it's really funny how people say, yeah, the morning show is now still around. It's called MW Duh or Duh TV or whatever you want to call it. So it makes me smile knowing I started something. And when I was part of the audiovisual department, it was basically like a giant hangout. And all of this is in my book too. In the book I'm writing, my friend's helping me write. And it's basically, there was this stupid teaser I had. She came down one day. She didn't like the fact I used to cut out of study hall. So, she used to say, well, I want to see what the big interest will say base. And the day she came down, I was sitting there with like 12 other people, and she said to Mr. Earl, what's the deal with these people? Why are they just sitting around watching TV, watching cartoons? And then he's like, well, this is their free period. From that, because she didn't like that, and she didn't like how I was trying to interact with people. Next year, yay, we have new rules. You can only be here when you're supposed to be. No cutting class. And it's true, people cut class to be there. It's like no cutting class. You have to pass your classes. If you're failing classes, you can't be here. It's all in my book. And it's a big chapter about this, about Monday Library and everything. And, freedom of speech. But like I said, there's a whole big chapter of how I was treated, how I was basically pushed along, and I admit I read at a, trying to find the words for it. I can't read if my wife depended on it. Like, I can read if you write something out like a small sentence like this, or paragraph, okay, I understand. But if you use words like hypercryonic or hypercalcemic, or I don't know what that word is. And my other problem is,
I think a lot of us would have trouble with a word like that. Not just you.
And
I'd have trouble saying it. I wouldn't know what it means either.
No, absolutely. And I can say words, I can say couch, I can say, trying to find a word for it. You just any word you can throw at me, I can say it, but if he asks me to spell it, I suck at spelling. I can't spell if my life depended on it. But I can say it. And so, like I said, I can do what you do, but only it's got to be scaled back. The reason I'm so good at this, and I'm passionate about this, I've been doing this since I was 15. I am now 27. And from 2001, my dad used to make high school videos for his school, and I used to copy them. I used to take Marvel, I used to take X-Men, I used to take Spider-Man, and I used to just do the best of Spider-Man, and I did it recently with the Divas and a couple other people. The best of Stratus, the best of Marlena Perez, the best of, Royal Pains and House and Blue Bloods. And that's how it all started in Smallville, going back then. And then that's how it slowly started. And thanks to Mr. Earl, he let me run around with the video camera, so I was known as the kid who had the camera glued to my head. It's like, oh, Kiefer's around? Ah, shit, NBC has a camera with him. So every time they saw me, they always know I had a camera. And I made about 20 different videos. I threw them all out, that was my fault. But I don't have a VCR, number one, so couldn't watch them even if I did, number one. Number two, it bothered me because I was friends with, I thought I was friends with certain people, and we weren't. We just tolerated each other. Well, I will finish up the rant and I'm going to pass it back to you. It's just basically a lot of things about it. It's really bothered me. There was a period in my time where I just wanted nothing to do with it. I just wanted to move on. So when I started my talk show, I was interviewed actors, actresses, models, CEOs, professional wrestlers, cheerleaders, anyone you can think of. I'm trying to get on the show. So for military people, for whatever reason, military people, police officers, firefighters will not be a guest on my show for whatever reason. I would love to have them, but they won't do it for whatever reason.
So you've only had Monroe Woodbury graduates on your show?
Oh, most recently, I'm gonna get to that. I was interviewing a whole bunch of people I mentioned in the beginning, and I'm like, I'm not always going to get wrestlers, actors, blah blah blah, and instead of sitting around with my thumb up my butt, what can I do to fill in the gaps? Well, why not? We came up with it recently. Actually, it's November. I came up with this back in September, maybe August. Yeah, September, August. I said, why not interview people I went to school with? Patch things up. You tell you a funny story. It's to last year. I was talking to this girl, and I was telling people say, well, why don't you get speaking engagements, or why don't you come and talk to people? So I was supposed to go to the class of 2005 reunion. But first off, it wasn't at the school, it was in a bar. I don't need any drinks or get into any bar fights, thank you. So I didn't go. So '06 was coming up, and it's like, well, they know me from AV. They know about the whole, oh, he's a stalker thing and all that BS from AV. And I was like, I don't want to be remembered for that. Well, I'm already interviewing over 100 so far. Now I'm trying to reach 300. Thanks to you, we're up to 270. Why not fill in the gaps? So I'm interviewed a handful of people from '06, and some of them said yes, some of them said no. I was like, okay, maybe I'm on to something. Let's try something else. I'm gonna try now to interview '05. Unfortunately, the girl who created the group turned the page off. I don't have my yearbooks, so I have no idea who's from '05. I know like Dustin and Daniel Duray. That's really about it. Or Amanda Matassin. That's really about it. So '05 has got to be really hard. And but I interviewed people from '06 and '04, a little bit of 2003. I'm gonna interview people from 2002, 2001. So I'm gonna eventually start a trend. And like I said, you're from 2007, so I'm like, well,
Yeah.
why not do? And it was supposed to be 6 to back, and I was gonna do 2000, 99, 98, 97. Unfortunately, they're not on Facebook, so I had to stop at 2001. And I was like, well, why not go forward? So I reached out to '07 like you, and '08 and '09, and then I was like, yeah, it's great, but I'm not gonna push my luck because I graduated in '06, and we're in the same boat because you're only a year difference. So I'm gonna stop after '08 or so. But it doesn't really matter. I'm always looking to have people on the show,
Yeah.
and you're not always going to have A+ people. So you need to have so to work saying, okay, you had a truckload of actors, actresses, models, wrestlers, famous people. Now, what about, and I mentioned this, so what about hard-hitting people who had learning disabilities, who had it the same as you or maybe tougher? Why not start with people, with normal people? And I was like, okay, that's how Mundo Woodbury came up with interviewing everyone from Mundo Woodbury.
All right. So if you had a dream job, what would it be? Maybe doing like a talk show on the big channels. Would that be your dream job? Something similar to what you're doing now?
Well, it's kind of funny you should mention that. 2004, when I went to AV, I wanted to be a personal assistant. For one movie they had on TV, like every Friday or once a week on Friday, it was Almost Famous. And that movie had a big influence on my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to go on. And it's, let's see, 2004. And I was using MySpace at the time and Live Journal. And that's another whole big thing. I don't want to get started. There's a whole other website bullshit. So I was using MySpace and I was talking to different people who had bands, tribute bands. I was talking to Iron Maiden. I thought I was talking to Iron Maiden, but I was talking to the agent of Iron Maiden, Boston, all these other great bands or tribute bands, and from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to about 2009, 2010. I wanted to be a personal assistant, go on tour, and that's why I wrote as a roadie or a personal assistant, and I can go do whatever I want. And then I was like, yeah, it's never gotta happen. I came across Suits, and now this is how it's gonna answer your question. Came across Suits, wanted to be an actor, fell in love with it. I wanted to be on the show. I wanted to work with Michael Ross. Wanted to get a hot girlfriend like Rachel. Real name Megan. For people who want to know, spoiler. And I tried taking acting classes. It didn't work out. It was too much money. The guy wanted $600 up front. Then he wanted $1,200. And it's like, I'm not pissing away $2,400 for a gamble. And it's like, yeah, you have this certificate saying, you took the classes, certified and whatever. It seems like a gamble. So I came up with using my disability as a crutch. It's for a long time using my disability as a crutch. Can't do this, can't do that. Can't go to college, and end up in a group home or whatever. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to show people that with a learning disability, I can still amount to something, to make a long story short. And to answer your question, I would love to become famous. I can die happy knowing that I became famous. People walk up to me saying, hey, I love your show. I think you're an inspiration. Keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right path. And people say to me, if you never said anything, we want to know you had a learning disability. I was like, thanks. And yeah, but I had years of practice. I had speech therapy. I had emotional therapy. All types of therapies you can think of. I'm not the same person, thank God for that. But this talk show really helped me open up and interact with people more. I wish I did it a lot sooner. That was my mistake. And I would like just to turn into something. Maybe like David Letterman or Bill Maher, Bill O'Reilly. Just turn into something, become known. And my biggest fear, it's not knowing what's going to happen next for me. I'm always thinking, God forbid my parents aren't hearing. I have people are saying, oh, you're going to be fine. Your people are going to take care of you. And that's great, but I hope people mean it. So this talk show really means a lot to me. I'm very passionate about it. I'm working my ass off. I'm promoting myself. I'm looking for people. And I can give you a perfect example. And then now we're doing a double screen. I can show you after what I mean by that. I used to have my image on the phone. And I used to record the camera from the phone. And then I had Skype on the computer. So I would record Skype from the computer, image from the computer to the camera, and I was like, oh, that's great. Now I'm doing recording Skype directly. So you can see from season 1 and 2, there's got to be a drastic video quality change I did. Now wrapping up, I'm going to put you in a hot seat saying, okay, have anyone ever walked up to you and say, you're never going to amount to something, or you set a goal and they say to you, you're not going to reach that? And have you ever proved people wrong? Have anyone ever walked up to you and say, I never thought you would amount to something?
I don't think it compares to your case, but I had people tell me, I don't think you can do that. I don't think it's possible. Don't even bother doing that. It's not going to work. And In some cases, if it's work related or something going on where I live here in Nicaragua, I'm able to come through, and people come out impressed and really in awe of what I've been able to do. And if they doubted me, then so be it. Prove them wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, wrapping up, do you have anything you want to say to your fans and listeners? Are you on LinkedIn? Well, apparently you're on Skype. Are you on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook?
Yeah,
How can your fans follow you?
I'm on everything. LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Skype. I'm on all the social networks, I guess.
All right, well, wrapping up, do you have any words of wisdom you want to share?
I think everybody should be doing what you're doing. Find your passion, find what you're good at, and stick with it, and make that your life. And don't listen to the positive comments people give you, but ignore the negative ones.